Good morning, everybody. I'm Donna Trainum from the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education in the Office of Student and Family Support, and I'm here with my colleagues Kristen and Chris. We're going to be offering you a session this morning on how to navigate our GEMS system as you work your way through the application for Fund Code 0127, which is promoting safe and healthy learning environments, elevating student voice and well-being. So Kristen's going to walk us through the GEM system, what it looks like, things to be paying attention to, and how to make sure your application gets uploaded properly through GEMS. So Kristen, I'll turn it to you.
Thanks, Donna. This is our home screen for GEMS. I just want to point out there's lots of resources on this home page on navigating GEMS. They're very generic, but these can be a good resource as well if you're looking for some information about how to get around in GEMS. But we'll start here. This is our test site, so we're not making any changes to the live site on anybody's grant. We are using a particular district to show you what's going on, but this is, as you can see, this is our test site. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to log in as an eligible grantee. In order to access this grant with your district, you need to have access as the Fund Code 0127 grant writer to be able to see it and to be able to start working in it. So I'm quickly going to show you how a user access administrator in your district can make that happen for you. If you are not that person, or if you're the user access administrator, this would be the way that you would do it. So you're going to sign in. And I'm using Peabody as our test district. And you can see this is Peabody, their organization code, their organization. Again, you'll see all the training resources. And this person that I logged into is a user access administrator. So we're going to first go to administer user access. And we're going to add this role of grant writer for Fund Code 0127 for Superintendent Vidala. And to do that, you click administer roles. You can see they're the user access administrator. They are the superintendent. They are the LEA fiscal rep. And we're going to create a role for them. And you can search using this search tool to be the Fund Code 0127, promoting safe and healthy learning environments, etc. grant writer. You create. And that's it. So now this user can do all the things we're going to show you today to walk through Fund Code 0127. So we're going to go back, and where you find the grant application is under the funding section. So you're going to use this left-hand navigation bar and go to funding and funding applications. This is a fiscal 25 grant, so you want to be sure to change this drop-down to 2025. And this will show you all the applications for which your district is eligible that are available in fiscal 2025. You can see right here, this is our grant in question. This is the grant that we're going to work through. You can see the status as not started. You can see the due date is February 21st. And we're going to just click into it and get started digging through. Okay, so one thing to note is everything is navigated at the top of this page. You can see your current application status, which right now for Peabody in this example is not started. And you can see the things that are available to do next. So you can change the status to, and this tells you what you can do next. If you hover over this hyperlink, you can see who has the ability to make this change. You can see the roles in GEMS that have that ability, and then the actual people in the district that are assigned to be able to do that. So in this case, I'm logged in as Superintendent Vidala, and so I can make this change and start this application. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I'm going to get a message that says I'm about to do it. Am I sure I want to do it? And I'm going to confirm that I do. And then we can dig into the application. Again, you'll see application status has now changed to application started, And the next thing you're going to do after you've written your grant, essentially, is to submit it. The grant writer will submit it to the next person in the line of the workflow for GEMS. This you'll see is common to all GEMS applications. It is essentially our landing page. I like to click view sections only. Makes it a little more readable, particularly for this grant where we have all the pathways. You can ignore for now the history log and the allocations, but you're going to dig in. So the first thing you should note is that there's a district level section. So any applicant applying for this grant should first click in here and complete the district level section. You don't actually have to complete it first, but you should look at it first. This is a summary page for you. It's going to tell us which pathways you're applying for, and it's going to give you an opportunity to talk about how all of these are connected for you in the district and how you're thinking about student voice broadly across these pathways. So you'll see those questions in the application planning tool, and then you'll see them here where you can actually submit your responses. You can see that I can now follow instructions and write the first and last name and title and email. I would put a fiscal contact. Again, all of this you can copy and paste from someplace else or type right in. You're going to check off which options you're applying for and the amount. Please check the RFP for maximum amounts eligible for each. This is going to add them all up for you at the bottom, just to show us how much you're applying for and for which categories. You can also click here and find a Word version of, you're going to click, this is going to click you to a folder with all of the descriptions for each of the pathways. So you can, use that as a reminder for the key requirements and the other things that are sort of the purpose and priority for each of those options. Navigating in GEMS, there are two ways to do it. You can use this save and go. So you can save and go to the next page. You can save and go to the previous page. I tend to use save and go to sections because sections is that landing page where you can then sort of see where you want to go next without having to look through all of these chains and levels. So, but that's a preference. You'll get used to it. You'll figure out your own way. But the district level section is required for all applicants. So please don't submit your grant past grant writer or the next steps until you've completed that section. I'm going to open it up again. You're going to want to click this plus sign and you're going to see everything in that section. So what I clicked right into when I clicked it was the required general information. And then there are required uploads for this grant. So this is important. One of those you can only upload here, and it's the private school consultation form. You're going to want to download that template and upload it here when it's complete. We're going to need that in order to approve a grant. And then our grant assurances is also required if you're applying under 4 of the sub options for this grant. I don't know them off the top of my head, but if you click into the grant assurances template, it will pull up a template for you. You can download that template and you'll see which ones are applicable. It's also in the RFP. You can get it there as well. So again, I'm going to go back to sections. And I'm going to open up option 1. So if you're applying for option 1, please be sure you're eligible. The eligibility listed in the RFP. This is the option for supporting the mental health and well-being of our newcomer homeless students. Each section you're going to see, there's a required program information section, and that's where you're going to respond to the questions in the RFP and tell us your plans and how they're all connected for the work in that particular option. And then each section, except for the district level section, has a budget. So this is where you'll put your budget just for that section, just for option 1. And you'll need to limit it to the maximum amount eligible for that. I'll walk through each of these, but just so you can see, each option has those same options within them for when you click in. You can, at this moment, ignore budget overview, ignore related documents, and ignore grant award notice. Those are going to be used upon award if you are awarded the grant. But everything you're going to need is to be found in option 2A, required program information, or the applicable options, required program information, and your budget option. Donna or Chris, any questions or anything I missed so far? And keep going.
Keep going.
Okay.
You're doing great.
All right, I'm gonna dig in. I guess I'll go back to option 1 and we'll dig in to show you what the required program information looks like. Again, at the top, you can click this link and it will bring you to a Word document that reminds you of the key requirements for that particular pathway. For each pathway, we ask that you provide us with a program contact and a fiscal contact. We know it may be the same person for all of your pathways, but to put it here in case this is the only grant you're applying for, it makes it easier for us to be able to communicate any questions with you. Each question has a different format. Most of our questions are narrative questions. The question is here. And the area for response is really quite malleable. It's like using a word processing tool. You can paste in from Word or another tool you're using to draft your application, or you can do your application right in this space. Again, nice features. You can spell check in here. You can paste charts. You can include links. You can use bulleted lists or numbered lists. And there's no limit. If the box looks like this, there's no limit to what you put in. We do ask that you only use the words or characters that you need to tell us what you're trying to do with these funds and how you're trying to weave them together to promote student voice. You will likely see other kinds of formatted questions, like this one here that's in the form of a grid. For this particular option, we're asking for the staff who will coordinate the activities, and we ask for the name, their title or role, and if applicable, if they're not a district level person, if they're a school level person, the school to which they're connected. You can add as many rows as you need to if you have more staff that you want to tell us about that are part of the team for that particular pathway, and you can delete them as well. You can see here, we're asking about how many staff will participate in the PLCs that we anticipate offering. These are tentative, but we just want to know. So again, there's places where we might ask for numbers of staff, percentages of staff, numbers of students. Those are all things you'll enter. And here you're only going to be able to enter numbers. I might have lied. You might be able to enter letters. Nope, you can't. So good test for me to know what our GEM system can do. But so for these in particular, you can only enter numbers. And then here is an open comments section where you can tell us about additional topics you might be interested in. Key thing, make sure to save and go. Don't just leave this page, don't click out of it, but save and go. And again, I usually save and go to sections, but you can save and go to next. I'm going to try that this time because it's going to take us, I hope, to the budget. So I'm going to save and go to next. And here's our budget. I'm going to show you, if you save and go to previous page, I'm just going to show you that down here, those things that I typed in, because I did save and go, they're there. So again, as long as you use that save and go, but be careful to save. It's not an automatic save, so make sure you're paying attention to that. Here's the budget. In this grant, we have not limited indirect. However, you can only apply for indirect costs if you have an approved rate. So just consider that as you're budgeting. And definitely reference the allowable fund uses in those one-pagers for each of the options. this is the new budget. Some of you may have seen it already. I'm not going to get into details about each of these categories. I believe on the GEMS homepage, there's some information about these categories, but you could also submit a question if you have any about these. In order to add budget items, you just click modify in the appropriate category. I'm going to just choose supplies and materials for ease. You're going to click modify. You're going to see this is the supplies and materials category. And then you're going to add a budget detail related to that. There's function codes associated with each of these object codes. So you can now navigate within this. If you're like, oh, I didn't mean to click supplies and materials, I actually want to add professional salaries, you can do that here. And this is for professional development. We're going to pay a staff person to lead professional development. And so that's what I want to do here. Or we're going to, let's see, sorry. You know, in some cases, you might be paying administrators or teachers for part of their role in this work. Again, check those fund uses in the individual categories. I'm going to go back to supplies and materials. And I'm going to go to instructional materials and technology. So let's say for the basic needs and well-being of our students, we're going to buy 2 Chromebooks to do telebehavioral health with our students. I'm just making that up. But so we're going to buy 2 of those as part of our grant, and they cost $200 each, not 2,000. There we go. And it'll calculate for you. If you do 2 that are at the same cost, it'll calculate for you. And you need to add a description, Chromebooks for telehealth. And Donna and Chris, tell me if I'm going too far in the weeds. You're going to always see the allocation is 0. Donna mentioned this, and remaining as a negative because you don't have an award yet. So don't worry about that. But you should be looking at never going over that maximum amount for that pathway. We don't have guards set up to prevent you from doing that, but we will not award over that amount. So just stay within those limits. Again, you're going to create, this time not save, but create the budget item. And then you're going to see that's here. And if you go back, you're seeing sort of a summary up here. And if you click return, it's going to bring you to this overview page where you see all of the categories for which you can budget. And again, you're going to see what's budgeted, your total, a 0 allocation, and then what's remaining. And then we can go back to sections. So again, you're going to do that for each of these grant options. I'm going to go into one of the grants that has the requirement of assurances. So I'm going to go into the playful learning. And I'm going to go, you can upload an assurance document for this grant in one of 5 places. So as long as you do it in one of those 5 places, it'll be everywhere it needs to be. So you fill it out for all of the options for which you're applying, for which there is a grant assurance. And again, the RFP will tell you, and you can upload it in one place and it'll be everywhere you need it to be. So I'm clicking into the required program information. This is one place you'll be able to do it. I'm going to scroll all the way down to the bottom, and I'm going to prove myself a liar because I think I didn't fix this for us, Donna. So I think I have to show you in a different category because this is test, and we're testing it out, so apologies. But if I had updated this, it would be here for you to upload. So in the actual site, you should see it here at the bottom of Playful Learning. You'll be able to upload it. If you don't, you can let us know, but also there are 4 other places you can do it, so not to worry. Let me go back to, let's see, what's one of the other ones? What does it say? 2C, 2D, 2E. So I'm going to go to 2D. Sorry about that. And I'm making a liar out of myself again. I'm sorry. Donna, maybe we didn't update. All right, so I'm gonna show you the place I know it is because I already showed it to you. So if we go to the district level section and required uploads, it is here. So if you don't find it in any of those other places, like I said you would, apologies, but it is here. So if you go to that district level section, you're applying for any of those 2C, 2D, 2E, and F. You'll find it here. You can download the template here. I'm not going to do it because we're in test and it will create an error. But in the live site, you'll be able to click on this link and it'll pop up for you, the download. You can complete the grant assurances and then you're going to upload it back here. See, I shouldn't have done that. And you're going to upload it into this section. I'm going to try one of those others to see if we actually did it, Donna. Nope, we didn't. So apologies. We didn't update our test site with these, but like I said, you can do it right where I showed you in the district level section or in the live site, you will see it in all of the required sections. So that's the basics on how to navigate this. The next step in our workflow. So basically you start your application, your grant writer does their thing, and then they need to submit it to your LEA fiscal person. And so we're going to change this status to submitted. And once it gets submitted, you'll see that the next status is your fiscal person is going to look at it. I get this message. Am I sure I want to do it? I am sure. And now we see the next status to change to. So right now it's submitted by the grant writer. The LEA fiscal rep has to approve it. And again, you hover over and you can see who in the district is assigned as that fiscal rep. Or they can return it to you and say, nope, you have to move this to a different spot. Or I noticed you over budgeted. Your fiscal rep should be looking for the things that they know about for how you budget as a district and how you allocate your funds. Once they approve it, they're going to move it on. And the fiscal rep will submit it. They're going to need to certify that they've looked at it and it complies with their your fiscal policies. So they should read this statement, check the box, and submit. And then the final step before your grant is considered to be submitted, and so this needs to happen before 5 p.m. on Wednesday, February 21st, is the superintendent or chief executive. If you're a collaborative or a charter school, it's the charter school leader, or their designee in GEMS needs to submit this. So they should also review or whatever process you all have locally to have your superintendent or leader review. And then they're going to click this change status to chief executive approved. Again, there's a certification document. This essentially replaces the part 1 that we typically ask you for in grants when you submit in ed grants. And they are going to certify it and they're going to confirm. And then it's submitted. So then this grant is submitted to us at DESE to consider for funding. The next statuses you'll see are all statuses that DESE does. So this return to applicants for edits prior to award is basically what they call in procurement, like best and final offer. So if there's something about your grant that like we needed to be able to consider this to be approved or not, we'll ask for that. Otherwise, we'll have done our review process and move it to the next step. So that's GEMS in a nutshell. Hopefully that gives you a good idea of how to navigate this funding application and submit questions through our achievement at mass.gov if you have additional questions. Thanks.